Good afternoon, everybody. This is Kade the Wizard Wells coming to you from my classroom as usual. I wanted to share a really quick hit with you today. This is just another hack for people who want to teach Dungeons and Dragons in their classroom with lots of kids. It can be difficult with new players, with new DMs. It's difficult. Kind of a funny intro to this. I did teacher training last spring, like I always do, and a really experienced player was like, "Why have I never done this?" It's so amazing. Like, it makes so much sense. I've taught people how to play, and this would have benefited full-grown adults. And so this is part of what I do for training. This is what the kids do on their character sheet, and it's simply a color code. Okay. Another funny story is I shared this with Dan, the VP of Dungeons and Dragons, and Shelly and them. And Dan was titillated by the idea of color coding a character sheet, and he's like, "Yeah, we should do that on D&D Beyond." I was like, "Yeah, you should. You should do it on D&D Beyond." So I'm going to run you through my method of color coding and explain just a little bit of why it's so effective. I think you'll probably get it pretty quickly. So here's the character sheet as you understand it. And there was lots of different variants to the character sheet. I like this one for students because of the alphabetical order of skills. I'll get there in just a second. So saving throws are green. Green box, okay? Skills are blue box. Attacks, red, violence, red box for attacks. We did orange for armor class, because why not? And then yellow for hit points, okay? So then, why is this so effective? Is a dungeon master can say, roll a dexterity saving throw as something's coming at you, and then they can say, green box. Oh, it's in the green box. Okay. Otherwise, what you find is the kid is like, they're new. They have no idea where to look, what it means, anything. So when they can say, hey, you're going to roll a skill check for athletics, blue box, alphabetical order, which is why I like this character sheet, is because the skills are all in alphabetical order. The other one that my friends and I use often has the skills branching from the ability score as well as the saving throw. They're basically together over here, and many of you who play D&D, I'm sure, have seen that. I like that one, but I've found that the alphabetical listing of skills with the little descriptor on the back is actually a little bit easier for them to use, even though that might seem counterintuitive. In this way, the saves being separate from the skills actually makes it a little bit easier for them, because it's just so isolated, it's so different, that it's like just the yellow, hey, you got hit, take 2 points of damage, that's the yellow box. And of course they're going to find, this helps train them to figure out, where those things are. Family, when you're teaching 25 kids to play at a time, something like this simple concept can make things so much easier. And as soon as a kid's eyes are trained and brain is trained to look at certain places, there are psychological effects that happen inside the mind. The brain is basically like just playing like memory when you're a kid, and you like flip this one over. Okay, there's the horse. And okay, well, I remember the horse is over here somewhere. We know beyond any doubt that those types of games are good for the minds of children, and that's why they still exist. That's why we still have kids play them. Puzzles and all the things that we feel like are maybe arbitrary, they all have educational value to the way that the brain grows. And so, again, just how great playing Dungeons and Dragons is for children. Something like this trains their brain in a way where their brain can do other tasks for looking for certain pieces of information, and they'll learn different strategies by which to organize information from doing this activity. I've seen that transfer lots and lots of times. The scores transfer every single year. When my scores are higher, that means something, right? It's not arbitrary. Data doesn't lie. We always got to say data doesn't lie. My anecdotes, great, fantastic, kids are happy, wonderful, whatever. None of that would matter if their test scores weren't improving consistently. And then apples to apples, I'm always happy to see how that works out. And one year, maybe it won't. And I'll be like, okay, I just quit. I'm just going to no, I won't quit. So color coding character sheets, if there's any others that you would add, I mean, this is all the actionable stuff, right? It's like the things you need to know all the time. Spells, having kids learn spells is tricky. I don't have a model of this right in front of me, but the kiddos will make a slideshow of their spell descriptions. So they just snap a picture of the spell's description out of the player's handbook. They've got their spell, sheet that they write everything of their spells, like their character sheet spell list. But then beyond that, they'll have a spell book, basically, no matter what kind of class they are. A cleric will still have a spell book, we call them. But that's just Google Slides, and each spell level that they can cast, they have the spells for that level that they cast on a regular basis. pictured in those slides. And so instead of having to everybody have a player's handbook who can cast spells, they have their slideshow on their iPad. They very easily access, like, here's what the spell does. I mean, it streamlines everything so well, especially spellcasters are kids who are usually going to be excited about the game. I kind of go out of my way to suggest that if you think you're not going to like this, if this is not your thing and not your wheelhouse, and you're only going to do it because it's school and you have to, don't make a wizard, right? I tell them that. Don't do it. Like, you will not be happy. You're going to play poorly. You'll score poorly. Like, nothing's going to be good about it. So if you are really on the fence about this, be a rogue, be a fighter, be a barbarian, maybe a ranger, maybe a paladin, but they get some spells too. And so I don't want to, like, scare them away from a challenge, but at the same time, I want to be pragmatic and open to, their needs as learners. Okay. So I have them for 2 years, and plus we have D&D club. So there's lots of chances for them to experiment with other character classes, but what you can't have in a group setting like this, where it's actually school, where the game is supposed to, in my mind, the game is supposed to look like what the game looks like for my friends and I, okay? And I know that's kind of a big ask for 7th and 8th graders, because my friends and I play professionally, basically, like, we take it seriously, we enjoy the story, we want to have fun together. And so what I kind of expect for my students to begin to look like as they continue to play is sort of professional D&D players, right? And when that happens, you have all kinds of learning that is taking place, all kinds of it. The socio-emotional is just the tip of the iceberg, but it's just really, really, really cool in that way, how much it helps kids. And so if you think about those games that kids play when they're little, and we're like, oh, that game is good for those kids, we need to start seeing the games that we leave behind as adults, right? Oh, we're busy, we go on to do stuff. We all know that games are fun, but we forget to think about all the nature of what fun actually means to our brain. When we are having fun, we will often enter a state of flow with an activity that we like. Games are well known for the state of flow. However, video games have become the popular trope for kids to escape, right? And it's fine, because, like, who doesn't like a good video game? I sure do, but I don't have time to play them all the time like I used to, of course. And so as a teacher, I feel that our job, especially as English teachers, is to make sure that skills are not lost to time. And if kids cannot sit down at a table and play a game with peers or adults or whoever, then we are letting a super important skill be lost. And it cannot be. Okay, so color code character sheets, super duper neat. I meant to keep this short. If you have any questions or comments about it, just reach out to me, okay? Color code character sheets really, really, really helps. Okay, what's your armor class? Orange, okay? How many hit points you got? Yellow, right? You can see how easy that is as a teacher strategy. Obviously, using this color coding strategy for other complex tasks that aren't D&D also is a really great idea. We've used it for all kinds of different things. I hope you guys are having a great school year. I've taken some pretty cool video of the kiddos just waiting on release, and to see what that looks like. Just don't make sure I don't want to curl anybody's toes, right? You know how the world is. This is Kade the Wizard Wells. I'm out of here. Got to go to a volleyball game in 15 minutes. Have a great day. Bye-bye.